The Bird and the Whale. High above the endless blue, where the clouds drifted like islands of fluff, lived an albatross named Sky. Her wings were long and silver, and she could ride the wind for days without ever touching the land. Sky loved the feeling of the sun on her feathers and the salty spray of the sea far below. But sometimes, in the vast, quiet sky, she felt a little bit lonely. Deep below, in the quiet, shimmering world of the ocean, lived a humpback whale named Echo. He was as big as a hill and as gentle as the currents that rocked the seaweed. Echo spent his days singing. His songs were ancient and deep, telling stories of the ocean's secrets. But sometimes, he would swim near the surface and wonder about the bright, empty world above the water. One afternoon, the sky began to change. The fluffy white clouds turned to a bruised purple, and the wind began to whisper warnings. Down below, Echo felt the change too. The calm sea began to heave and churn. He dove deeper to wait for the storm to pass. The wind grew into a howling monster. It grabbed at Sky's wings, tossing her back and forth. A powerful gust twisted her wing, and she cried out in pain. She couldn't fight anymore. Exhausted and hurt, Sky tumbled from the sky, a tiny silver feather falling towards the angry gray waves. Just then, Echo rose to the surface for a breath of air. He saw the small shape falling from the sky. It was not a raindrop. It was something alive. Sky hit the cold water with a splash. The waves crashed over her, and she struggled to keep her head up. She was very, very scared. A low, humming sound rumbled through the water. "Hold on, little one," said a voice as deep as the ocean itself. A great, gray back rose from the water beside her, as steady as an island. Sky scrambled onto the whale's back, shivering. Echo moved slowly and carefully, rising and falling with the waves, keeping his new passenger safe from the storm. When the sun finally broke through the clouds, it cast a rainbow across the calm sea. Sky looked at her rescuer. "Thank you," she chirped. "I'm Sky." The whale smiled with his eyes. "I am Echo. I am glad you are safe." As Sky's wing healed, she told Echo all about her world. She described the colors of a sunrise, the patterns of the stars, and the feeling of catching a current of wind and soaring for miles. Echo, in turn, told Sky about his world. He sang of coral gardens bursting with color, of silent, glowing jellyfish that lit up the dark, and of the playful dance of dolphins. Sky had never imagined such wonders existed beneath the waves. The world was so much bigger and more beautiful than she had ever known. Echo had never imagined the sky held such marvels. He tried to picture the stars Sky described, like tiny, scattered diamonds on a dark cloth. They spent many days together. They were very different, a creature of the air and a creature of the sea, but they understood each other perfectly. They were friends. One morning, Sky stretched her wing. The pain was gone. She flapped it once, then twice. It was strong again. It was time for her to return to the sky. A sadness fell over them. "Will you go?" Echo asked, his voice a low rumble. "The sky is your home." "Yes," Sky said softly, "but I will come back. I will be your eyes and tell you all about the clouds and the distant shores, and you will be my song and tell me the stories of the deep." With a running start, Sky pushed off from Echo's back and soared into the air. She circled high above, her silver wings catching the sunlight. "I can see an island," she called down. Below, Echo watched her go. Then, gathering all his strength, he launched his enormous body out of the water in a magnificent breach. He sang a song of farewell and friendship that echoed across the entire ocean. And so, the albatross and the whale remained the best of friends. Sky traveled the world, but she always returned to the spot in the ocean where Echo waited, ready to share their stories and bridge the gap between the endless blue sky and the deep blue sea.